Hi, this is Ryan Hoff with your AIC Legislative Minute for March 30th, 2023, brought to you by Apex Benefits. This week at the Indiana General Assembly, the pace of legislative action quickened as important bills began to take their final shape prior to the conference committees. The Senate Appropriations Committee considered the state budget, and other plans were being laid to address various tax matters. The Senate Appropriations Committee amended and approved House Bill 1005 to include the changes that were previously in Senate Bill 300 to residential TIF. While AIC supported the underlying bill to provide a state revolving loan for housing development infrastructure costs, we opposed the addition of Senate Bill 300 to that bill. This change would remove the existing guardrails from the use of residential TIF, allowing the tax increment on this development to be taken up for infrastructure costs. This means that the additional tax base to pay for county services such as elections, tax administration, courts, jails, and all the rest would not be available to fund services required by new residents. AIC requested in committee that if the existing guardrails are not appropriate, that a county approval mechanism be added to make sure that there is another set of eyes to assure that this tool is being used when appropriate. Counties can and do use residential TIF, but because the ability to fund county services would be impacted, we would like the county to be part of the decision-making process. This bill is now eligible for amendment in the full Senate. Senate Bill 417 was heard in House Ways and Means Committee last week and approved by the committee this week to allow counties to adopt a lit rate to fund up to half of the cost of courts via local income tax. This revenue would be fully directed to counties to pay for the costs of the state's court system without being split amongst other units as lit typically is. AIC supported this local option, and the bill is now eligible to be considered by the full House of Representatives. It's been a couple of weeks since I mentioned House Bill 1499, which is the big property tax relief bill for this session. It has not yet received a hearing in the Senate after passing the House in early February. While it has not yet been scheduled for a committee hearing, we are picking up that there is a renewed focus on that bill now that property tax bills are beginning to come out. So, once again, if you have conversations with your legislators, you should keep in mind that by the end of session, this issue may be well on the list of issues that need to be addressed. One bill that is scheduled for next week is the DLGF bill, House Bill 1454, which will be heard in Senate Tax and Fiscal Committee next Tuesday. We are preparing for multiple amendments to be offered across several different matters of county interest. From assessment policies to property tax exemptions, just about any property tax matter would be germane to that bill. We're only a month away from the end of session, and the next few weeks will move very quickly. You may well get very time-sensitive requests for legislative outreach on these issues or any other bill. We always appreciate your legislative involvement, and the coming days will be the most important as bills reach their final versions. This has been your AIC Legislative Minute, brought to you by Apex Benefits.